Shri Gurubhyo Namaha children. Today in this session, we are going to discuss general structure of Python programming and variables and assignments and how to give simple input and output statements. In your Python program structure, thus it contains import statements, it contains functions, class definitions, module scope, variables and code executes from top to bottom of the file, that is as opposed to main. That is always your program starts from your main function and from the topmost level to the bottom level of your program, your Python program executes. This is a sample program that we have. Here we have import a dot code. That is, this is going to be your main program where your program stores with the file extension .py already as we have seen in the last session, and running a.py does not accept declare the foo function. That is, we are calling from the main program, we are calling the function foo. The name of the function is foo. From the main program, we are calling the function. So it need not to be declared, that is, it need not to be executed, that is a.py program need not to be executed because we are calling the function from the main program, that is from the through the file b.py. When b is run, a foo is imported as a.foo. That is, the contents which are present in that particular file will be imported as a part of your main program. Running b.py prints foo. That is, as it is being imported as a part of your program, it just prints the statement as foo. Here is a sample program, that is the structure of your Python program. This is write a program to find the square of a given number. Here we have specified with hash, which is nothing but this statement will not be read by your Python interpreter as it is being specified as a comment. The next def, whichever the function we have, the function will always start with the def. So here we have two functions. One is the str, the other one is main. So these are the two functions, and these two functions will end with a colon at the end. And we have result equal to num into num, print of square equal to result. You can notice that a gap or a space has been given. There is a difference in the def and result. That is, a space has been given over there, which we call it as indentation. Right? Which includes, when we have specified with the indentation, which includes a block of code have been specified in that particular function. The same way in def and main also we have a statement with an indentation and it specifies a block of code for that particular function. Always your Python interpreter starts working from your main function. So when it reaches the main, the control will be shifted to your main function and it executes all the statements which are present in that main function. Then in that main function, in turn, we are calling the str. So str function will be called over there and it executes the statements which are present in a str function. This is the basic general structure of your Python program. White spaces. White space is a meaningful in Python, especially indentation, the placement of new lines. So for every indentation, we call a block has been given. Use a new line to end the line of code, right? So to end the line of the code, you can use /n during your print statement. Use / when you must go to the next line prematurely. Use no curly parenthesis to mark the blocks of the code. Instead, we have to use indentation to represent the block of code. White spaces, that is, use consistent indentation instead. That is, we have to use 4 spaces to specify the indentation level. The first line of with less indentation is outside of the block. So already we have seen def is here, which is outside the block. The first line with more indentation starts the nested blocks. You can specify even a nested blocks also. Often a colon appears at the start of a new block. Because always a function should end with a colon at the end. It is for functions, class definition, a colon should be end. The next one is here, comments. Comments are non-executable statements in the program. That is, it will be used only for the documentation purpose. In this, we have single line comment and multi-line comment. Single line comment starts with hash, whereas your multi-line comment is given with a triple quotes. Right here, this is the example. With the triple quotes, write a program to find the simple interest, where this statement will not be read by a interpreter, where this is called as non-executable statement. Triple apostrophe is called, we call it as a doc string. Always comments will be used only for the documentation purpose. The next comes with your statements. So statements will also be present in your program. In computer terminology, statements refers to an instruction. It can contain several statements. A collection of statements only, we call it as a program. So the program also we can call it as code. The next one is functions will also be present in your Python structure, program structure. A function is a self-contained program segment which carries out some specific well-defined task. That is, a function which starts with a def and it contains some statements in your function where these statements will have some specific defined task under that name of the function. For that reason only we'll be using the function. Here this function str is specified to calculate the square of a number. Python programming conventions. So in your Python program, we have some programming conventions. Statement termination. Python does not use any symbol to terminate a statement. So you will be having many statements in your Python programming. You need not have any termination at the end of the statement. The maximum length that can be specified as 79 characters in one particular line. White spaces. You should always have white spaces around your operators, but not within the parentheses. A block or a code. A block means a group of statements which are a part of another statement or a function. We call it as a block or a code. Python is case sensitive. It reads both your uppercase and lowercase characters differently. Identifier naming. Underscore to separate words in identifiers. Already we have discussed about the identifier rules. So an underscore can be used to separate the identifier words. Instead of giving it as a space, you can refer with a underscore symbol. The next is your variables and assignments. A variable is called as a named label. We call it as a variable, right? So here marks equal to 86. So marks is a variable, that is a named variable where it contains the value as 86. Here you can see that already these values, which are nothing but objects, will be present in your memory. Once we define the variable will be pointing to that particular object referencing address, which is nothing but 2054 here. Now we have changed the value of the variable as 81. So instead of in previous case the variable was pointing to 2054. Now the same variable is pointing to 2026. Variables in Python do not have pixel location, unlike in other programming language, which means that in other programming language in the same location, the value of that particular variable gets changed. But whereas in your Python, it does not have any fixed locations. So an object will be referencing or it will be pointing to a different location. We have L value and R value. L value, which is nothing but LHS or left signed value, where a variable name will be given to store the corresponding value. R value, which is the right hand side value, which contains your data value. Next is your variable assignments, multiple assignments to a variable. A Python is versatile with assignment statements, assigning same value to multiple variables. So it can be specified as A equal to B equal to C equal to D equal to E equal to 10, which means that A also takes the value of 10, B takes the value of 10, C takes the value of 10, D takes the value of 10, E also takes the value of 10. That is, we are assigning the same value to multiple variables. Multiple assignments. Assigning multiple values to multiple variables. Here P, Q, R equal to 5, 10 and 15. So now this value will be assigned as P value as 5, Q value as 10 and R value as 15. The first value will be given to the first variable, second value to the second variable, third value to the third variable. When we print Q and R, the value of Q and R gets printed. Now we are reassigning the value of P and Q. So Q value is being given to P and P value is given to Q, which means that we are swapping the values. So as we swap with the values P, Q, that is we are printing the values of P and Q. So Q value is taken by P and P value is taken by R. That's why Q value is taken by the P value. So we have 10 and 5 as an output. Assigning multiple values to multiple variables. So here we have 3 variables and 3 values we are assigning. So A value is 5, B value is 10, C value equal to 7. So B, C, A, we are assigning the multiple values to the another variables. So B value will be calculated as A plus 1, which is nothing but 5 plus 1. So it takes the value of 6. C value is taken as B plus 2. So your B value, which is nothing but 10 plus 2. So C value is 12. Now A value equal to C minus 1. So C minus 1, which is nothing but 7 minus 1, it gives the value of 6. So when we print the values of A, B, C, you will be getting 6, 10, 6 and 10. Now we change the value of x as 10. So here we change the value of x as 10. That is, many values can be separated by commas and evaluated from left to right. So x value is 10. Y equal to, so the same variable y we have assigned with 2 times. So it will be evaluated from left to right. So initially your y value is 10 plus 2, which is nothing but 12, and the same y value again we are assigning with x plus 5, that is 10 plus 5, so it takes the value of 15. Y equal to, that is initially first time it takes the value of 12, second time it takes the value of 15. Now when we print the value of y, it prints the value of 15. That is, we are reassigning the object value y to a different location or to the different object, which is nothing but 15. Dynamic typing. A dynamic variable, that is a variable pointing to a value of certain type, can be made to point to a value or object of different type. This is called as your dynamic pointing. In previous case also we have seen initially we made y value to point to 12 and after that we made the same y value to be pointing to 15, which is nothing but dynamic typing. Here is another example. X equal to 10, print x, that is it is pointing to the value of 10. Again we have changed the x value as a string value, which is hello world. So when we print the x value, it gives the hello world. So this is an example of, so initially x is pointing to the value of 10. Now in the second statement we made the x value to point to a string object, which is nothing but hello world, instead of pointing to the 10. That is, it is not the object is not being referenced. Now a string object is being referenced by a variable x. During your dynamic typing, when we are changing the value, some cautions should be taken, some measures should be taken. X equal to day, which means that x is pointing to a string value. When we try to give y equal to x by 2, you will get an error statement. That is, a string cannot be divisible. So string cannot be dividable. So these are some of the cautions that you have to consider when you are reassigning the variables value or during your dynamic type of allocations. To know the type of your functions, so to which value that you are being pointing, so that you can change your dynamic typing also can be done. To know the data type of a value that is pointing to type, you have to use a type function. So it returns with the an integer what type of value that the variable is being assigned, that will be returned as its type. 20.4, which is nothing but a class 4. A equal to hello. When we give the type of A, it returns with a string value pointing to which type, pointing to which type it will be referencing it. The next comes with your input functions. So how we are going to read the values from the user. Input is a built-in function of Python used to read values from the user. It is a built-in function, which means that already it will be preloaded. So the general format or the syntax is variable to hold the value, which is nothing but the value that you are going to store, or the variable which is going to point to the object's reference, and input, that is from the user's input you are going to take the value. Variable to hold, that is a variable which is a label or it may be an identifier for a memory location where the value is being stored. Now here we have three types. P equal to input of enter the value. X equal to int of input of enter the value. Y equal to float of input of enter y value. In first case, we don't have any data type to be specified. So it reads the value from the user in the form of a string type. In second statement, the value that is being given through your input is being converted to the integer. Reads the value, converts it to the integer type. In third step, y equal to 4. The same way, it reads the value, converts it to the float type. Example, here are the two functions which can be used as an input to convert the received value. That is age equal to, which is nothing but a variable, int of, that is the given value which has been specified through the input is being converted to the integer format. The same way for sale also, the value is being converted to the float data type. The next is your print function. The print function is a built-in function of Python used to display the values on the screen. So its general format is print of objects, separator, end, file, flush. These are the four parameters that contains in your print function. The print function can print arbitrary number of values separated by commas. These values are separated by blanks. In the following, during the printing your values, it is separated by blanks. In the following example, we can see two print calls, two values in both the cases, string and a float. Objects, which is nothing but indicates there are many more objects which is being printed. Separator, objects are separated by separator. By default it will be a space in between the values. File must be an object with a string method. If omitted, sys.sysout will be used, which prints the objects on the screen. That is, through your console output, the objects are being displayed on the screen. Flush, if it is true, the stream is fully flushed. By default, it is false. Here is an example. Print Python a equal to 5 hash. Two objects are passed. Print a comma a, b equal to a, and three objects are passed. A comma a, b. So the output is initially, as we have given this statement, print statement, it prints the Python is 5. Next, a value is being assigned with 5. So this print statement will print a equal to and referencing variable as 5. So whatever the value which we have given in a double quotes will be printed as it is, comma, it can be separated by comma and followed with the variable that is being referenced with the value as 5. Now we have reassigned the value of a to b. So here when we are printing the object a equal to, so we got a equal to a value which is nothing but the referencing value of a and which is 5 equal to b. That is, just we have assigned the value but we are just printing the value as it is. That is, through your string value we are printing. So this is the output when we are working with the print statement. Here it can be separated with the variable values can be separated with commas. Here is another example, a equal to a, which means that here as we have specified here, it just prints the values as it is. It will not take you to the next line. Here in a print statement, we have used a escape sequence character, which is nothing but /n. It takes your cursor to the next line. So this statement you will be getting as an output a equal to. So in next line, it takes the value of a and 3.564 gets printed in the next line as it reads with the non-graphic characters, that is /n, which is nothing but the cursor will be shifted to the next line. Thank you children. To receive our online lesson, please press the subscribe button and you will receive the latest updates.